So in the country, we have a special relationship with fire and alcohol. Maybe it's alcohol and fire. I'm thoroughly convinced that shortly after or right before man discovered fire, he discovered alcohol. A lot of people ask, what came first, the chicken or the egg? I always ask, what came first, the fire or the alcohol? But you got to admit they got it right. Few things are as satisfying as sitting around a nice hot bonfire with a good cold beer. Now, of course, I can recall hundreds of fire related adventures, or as my mom calls them, incidents, involving Ricky Bobby Ray Ricky, and Ray Ricky Bobby. I tried to list them all. I'd never be able to do a video on anything else. When I was about 10 or so, Bobby Ray Ricky, and Ray Ricky Bobby, they cleared a bunch of land behind the trailer, and they had this brush pile that was at least 10 foot tall and as big around as a house. Well, they tell us to come over there that they're going to light the brush pile about time it gets dark. So it starts getting dark, and Mom brings me over there. And then we notice Bobby Ray Ricky and Ray Ricky Bobby are standing way back, and Ricky Bobby Ray is close to the brush pile, striking a lighter on the ground. Do I even need to mention that Ricky Bobby Ray was a bit of a pyro? I mean, over the years, there was like hardly anything he hadn't burnt, scorched, or, blown up. Well, Mom drives me over to where Bobby Ray Ricky and Ray Ricky Bobby are sitting. So me and Mom ask what's going on. Well, Bobby Ray Ricky is like, Ricky Bobby Ray, added some gas to the burn pile, and now he's made him a trail, and he's too drunk to find it. This was a pretty common occurrence, and so I was like, why are you standing so far back? Well, Ray Ricky Bobby said because he used 10 gallons of gas. Now, for those who don't know, 1 gallon of gas can explode with a force up to 5 sticks of dynamite. Now, keep in mind that Ricky Bobby Ray didn't use 1 gallon, didn't use 2 gallons, didn't use 5 gallons. He used 10 gallons of gas. And where he was drunk and it was dark, he kept getting closer and closer to the burn pile trying to find that trail he had. The next thing I know, there's this huge fireball, and this wave of heat hits us even as far back as we were. Like the brush pile comes like 5 feet off the ground, and it knocks Ricky Bobby Ray off his feet. And there's bits of wood and flaming stuff going everywhere. It's like a redneck atomic bomb. So Ricky Bobby Ray gets up, runs over to us. His eyebrows are singed. There's holes in his flannel. Like his jeans are charged, and smoking. And he was like, wow, who the hell saw that coming? And Ray Ricky Bobby said, well, just about everybody, except for you. Now, the second adventure or incident that I remember, it kind of involves like those things you were told when you were younger, and they don't always turn out to be true. Like, just because you eat a big meal and go swimming don't necessarily mean your stomach's going to cramp up and you're going to drown. Also, I was always taught that pepperoni is made out of goat's meat. And now I find out it's not, about 30 years later. But, it's kind of along those lines. So where we had such a big extended family, Grandma always had to supplement our food with things us kids could either catch, shoot, or trap. It didn't matter, if it was fish, if it was some kind of something we trapped, squirrels, rabbits, or, something that the older guys shot, like deer or anything like that, was always, she had a recipe for everything. So one day, Ricky Bobby Ray Ricky, and Ray Ricky Bobby, they had jugged some snapping turtles. Now, a snapping turtle is a nasty, disgusting creature, that lives on the bottom and eats all this dead stuff, and, but So is a catfish. And I don't know why most of these bottom feeders, have pretty good meat. The only way to properly cook a snapping turtle is to have an open flame, a cast iron skillet with beer batter. That was the only time my uncles, cousins, whatever you want to call them, uh, would use would pour out a beer and not consider it alcohol abuse. So in the corner of the yard between my mom's house and Ricky Bobby Ray's trailer, they built this makeshift fire pit. They had a couple concrete blocks. They put a rack over top of it. They had all this seasoned wood that they was piling up underneath it. It was late summer, so Mom was trying to get me to get used to getting up early in the morning to catch the bus. And so she wouldn't let me go out there and sit with them while they were cooking the turtle. But she did let me go out there and tell them good night. So we go out there, and lo and behold, sitting on the rack is a kerosene jug. In those days, a whole lot of country people used to supplement their heat with kerosene. I'm sure it's the same way today. Now, back in those days, the kerosene come in metal buckets. And I guess Ricky Bobby Ray had found one that was all rusted at the bottom over in the weeds. So even back then, I didn't think that was right. And of course, Mom says, you guys are going to blow yourselves up. Well, Ricky Bobby Ray says, kerosene don't blow up like gasoline. Everybody knows that. That is, in fact, a lie. Now, it is true that kerosene has a higher combustion rate than gasoline. Now, I believe most of you all are pretty smart, but, for the Ricky Bobby Rays out there, light match, go boom. Even though the bottom of the can was rusted out, where they let the lid on, all those old kerosene fumes gradually built up and gathered up, and then after hours of being on that fire, they finally decided to explode. So I got a window at the foot of my bed, and I can kind of see the edge of the fire. Well, by the time I fall asleep, I hear this god-awful screeching sound like 100 bottle rockets going off at once. And I see this can go about 8 foot up in the air and explode. So me and Mom run out there to go check on them. And we see these three drunks, stop, dropping, and rolling on the ground. It's 1,000 wonders, that the shrapnel from the metal can hadn't hit them, but all they'd done is, scorched their clothes and stuff. And of course, it destroyed the turtle, which was the whole thing that they wanted. Mom just turned around and started heading back to the house. She goes, well, I guess it's true what they say. And I said, what do they say, Mom? She said, God watches out drunks and fools. And in this case, God had to work overtime. He had to do both.